Welcome to Immigrate. Welcome to a space where you can be vulnerable, a space where you're not going to be judged, a space where you can be authentic. And my hope and desire is to inspire and motivate everyone that click onto this podcast. So welcome to another episode of Immigrate. Welcome to another great episode, and I'm so excited to have this guest online with me. I forget to even ask her name, but her name is Batool. That's what your name is, right?
It's Batool, yeah.
Yes, perfect. See, so welcome. How are you doing?
I'm very well. How are you? Thanks for having me.
Great. I'm doing well. It's been a busy day, but we keep the punches rolling. And I met her through a friend of a friend. The person I met her through is was a mentor of mine and a boss of mine, and that's how we actually met. And she's married, of course, and she's been here since 2022. And she has some lovely kitties. Their name is Milo and Mini. Oh, the name is so beautiful. I don't know, it's always, but I'll let her introduce herself to you. And so tell us about yourself.
So it's been a year and a half that we moved to Canada, and my partner and I are living with two of our pets, family members, as I call them. So Mini and Milo. So it's been okay, yeah.
Great. So, how has your experience been since you have been here? Like, just share your experience since you're new, so you're kind of still going through the transition, right?
Yes.
So how has your experience been since you've been here a year and a half now?
So I think first thing you notice here when you land, you're like, everything is so gray. Where are the colors?
Oh, you came in the winter?
I came in the dead freeze, yeah.
Oh no, you did not.
Yes.
Oh yeah, okay. So you kind of get the cold first, and then okay.
And then you don't really realize how cold it is until you're waiting outside Service Canada, that long line, and then you're like, oh my God, I just want to go back home. God, please take me back home. That's when you realize you've come to Canada.
What was the temperature when you came here?
I think it was around ranging between, we landed in Ontario, so it was ranging between -4 to -12 or 14.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then you moved from Ontario and you came to Calgary?
Yeah, my husband landed his first job here, so the money took us there.
Oh, so did you guys like stay in Ontario, or you just moved right away when you came here?
We stayed with a family member in Ontario. Yeah.
Okay.
For 3
Oh.
months.
So then, what is other challenges than the cold that you feel? How was your transition? Or how is your transition going? Because I'm sure you're still transitioning.
So it's been a bit of a rough. I think it starts pretty roughly for. I don't know. I can't say about most people, but the leaving home, leaving your food, friends, family, and then trying to start from the very beginning. It's overwhelming. Nobody talk about. I think I went through you don't really know until it hits you that you're really, now you are at a point that you feel now you know that you're depressed. So initially everything is like you're living with your friends or family, you don't have your own space. That's also pretty difficult because you need to start your own thing. You can't really do much of your own thing. The family, friends are all very welcoming and very nice, but you need to start your own thing. So that's
Right.
that's overwhelming. I think the temperatures are overwhelming. The starting job at a new place, that's very overwhelming. Like work, everything becomes like too much.
So I know you said you studied in Pakistan, right? So you studied law. You were a lawyer in Pakistan, right?
Yeah, I'm an academic by profession, so I was heading a law department. Partnered with a very famous University of London partner college. So I was heading the law department there. Yeah.
Oh, so then I'm sure when you came here, you tried to apply for some lawyer job, didn't you?
So as soon as I came here, I realized everybody said, oh, so it's easy transitioning. You just have to take the bar exam and you are able to practice. But when you come here, you know that it's a completely different game altogether. You have to re-educate yourself. There's a lot of gatekeeping. So there are people, lawyers, doctor, engineers working in retail. So that's something which is also, I think you get an imposter syndrome. You start second guessing yourself. Even though we were a colony, and even though my first language isn't English, but we were always taught in English schools. But when you come here, you feel like, oh no, I don't know anything. I have to start all over again. So that's also one of the things that you might feel.
Yeah. So yeah. Anything else, like when it comes to, like you said, food and all that? What about? Because for me, when I came here, I came without family, right? I came by myself. Mm-hmm. And one of the toughest things for me was transition, as you touch on a point where living with family members, right? I wasn't living in family member, but I lived with a friend that ended up putting me out, right? Because after time, they get tired of you, right? And you touch a little part about that, but do you want to go in a little bit depth? Like, what do you mean you want your own space?
So I think even though most of the like, we have a fantastic family member and they were really gracious, opening their heart and homes to us, but after a period of time you feel like eventually you feel like this is not my place, this is their space, I'm intruding in theirs.
You feel like you're invading their space, right? So with all of that, but what was the most complex of all of these struggles that you think you went through, or still going through actually? What are some of the most complex ones you would say? I mean, we touch a little bit about mental health, which people don't understand that's one of the biggest things we suffer here. Like, you become depressed and all that, right? But what do you think was one of the most complex things that you went through?
Tasha, when I felt these symptoms, I think I started reading a lot of articles and journals. It's apparently immigration or moving to a completely different place is the second most traumatic experience, first being the death of a close loved one, family member.
What is that? Moving to another place?
Immigration, yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
So
did you actually, or was that one of your complex one then, you would say? The most difficult one for you?
I think it was a combination of everything, because you feel like your center has been moved. No friends, no social circle, no, you have to find new cultural or spaces. You have to reappropriate everything to create those memories that life, years and years of living that you did back at home.
So integration, right?
Yeah.
To find yourself, integrate with people, and it's tough, because for me, even though I came here with friends, we eventually part ways because we had different values and different ways of how we wanted. So I can see, and for me too, was that I didn't have any family here, so I had to integrate with people and culture to learn how, because culture shock was real. I don't know if you experienced that.
Culture shock is real. It is real.
Like you're like, oh, okay, people talking about that. I was like, no, this is not what foreign life is about. But if you should tell your 20-year-old, like, I don't know how, we don't want to put your age out there, but if you should tell your younger self, what would you say to them right now? Like, if you should tell your younger self, hey, I'm here in Canada, what would you tell your young self now, since you have experienced all that?
I think first, it's okay to feel vulnerable, and also that mental health is a real thing. So that once the older me came here, would after all these years would know that this is going to be a part of the equation.
Right. So you would tell your younger self that it's okay to be vulnerable, because a lot of times when we're younger, we don't want to be vulnerable.
No.
We don't want to share those emotions. It's part of us where it's so hard for us to share. I just got married, and that's where I struggle sometimes, right? Being vulnerable, and then sometimes when you're younger, you don't even know what those feelings are. And because of that, what would you say to an immigrant that's listening to this podcast right now and be like, I am new here, like 2 months, probably like you, a year or even longer, but they haven't transitioned, they haven't integrated as much as you have? What would you tell them right now?
I would tell them it's okay. You're important. You don't. This shall too pass. So just be a little more thick-skinned, and you will eventually do it.
Thank you so much. And I always ask this last question to my guests. How have you seen God and the work through your life since you've been here? Do you think that God put you here for a reason? Did you think God worked out most of your challenges that you went through?
I think can you ask me that question again? Maybe I'll put it in perspective.
I'm saying, how have you seen God or how have you seen God work out your problems since you have been here? Did you think He placed you here in Calgary or Canada for a reason?
I suppose so. It's for so because my husband is Irish Canadian, so we always wanted to be at a place which is more accepting of both the all of the races, and not really care about where your color, religion, your ethnicity. So essentially we were looking for that. But the interesting thing is you get stuck in a loop, because when you come here you realize, I think because you are in that integration phase, you feel like you're being judged on your color, on your religion, and so you have to work around that too. So I know for a fact that God has placed me here for a reason, but hopefully slowly but surely we will be at a better place.
And I'm sure do you feel like you're immigrant? Do you feel like you're at a good place though?
For sure. If I compare from last year, I was depressed. I wasn't integrated. I didn't know. So I'll give you an example. I wear my own cultural clothes with a flare now because I'm more confident in my skin. So
yes.
And everybody says, oh, that looks really pretty. People have come up to me and they're like, oh, you look fantastic, because I'm owning up to my culture, not trying to integrate. I don't want to just completely disown my own roots. So that's very important.
And this is why, again, makes me I enjoy doing these podcasts, because you said something that's so solid just now. You're more confident. You're immigrant. You know what I mean? You probably struggling or probably still going through the phases of it, right? Because even for me, I'm still integrated. I just got married. He's Canadian, but the problem is still you said you're more confident, and this is why the word for me immigrant means so much, because it's not necessarily, but you've reached a stage where I can wear my cultural clothes outside. Someone can identify me for who I am, and I am not ashamed.
Yes.
And this is, I just want to say thank you for sharing that, because that's really profound, and I'm glad that you actually feel that way. And I'm telling you, I've never seen you. I'm sure you're a pretty girl, so I'm sure your costume is beautiful on you. But as we end this podcast right now, I always just ask my guests to share 3 words. Don't have to be words, but 3 things that you want to say to just to end your presentation.
I just want to tell people to be brave and don't second guess yourself. You're smart, educated, and if not, there are always opportunities. And finally, onwards and upwards. That I learned from my mentor. That's one thing that I believe in.
Yes, thank you so much for joining me today, and just thank you for being vulnerable. You know, it's not always easy to just be vulnerable and be open, and you have been such a tremendous guest and so entertaining, and I thank you for that. So you never know, I might call you back to come back to do a part 2, so stick around. I have your contact information. If you like it, just let me know what you think about the podcast. And yeah, thank you.
You're doing great work. Thank you for having us. Thank you for doing this for people. This for somebody who's maybe feeling really low might hear us, and they might feel that this is going to end, and we are going to feel better very soon.
That is the reason I did it. You made me want to cry. Oh, yes, that is the reason why I'm doing this, because I struggled silently and there was no one to talk to some days. So at least I'm creating a space where if they click on a podcast or something, and the word is so close to immigration, so they can accidentally or hopefully they just hear this and they can be motivated that this country is a beautiful country, and you can be anybody you want here, and that's what I love about Canada. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay. Bye bye.